Let's ask about the presidency and what he's trying to do with health care. You brought a loaded gun. Was your gun loaded today?
Wow. Who would be silly enough to carry an unloaded firearm?
I'm only asking. You're answering the questions. Who's yelling now? Okay, that's on the tape. Why did you bring a loaded gun to a public meeting?
Well, here in New Hampshire,
I know the law. You can chew gum at church. You can do it. You can ride it on a pogo stick. There's a lot of things you're legally allowed to do. Why did you bring a gun to a meeting with the President of the United States, given the violent history of this country with regard to presidents and assassinations? Why did you bring a gun to a public event with the president? Well, you know the history of this country. If you love this country, you know its history. Well, you know we've had a problem with people with guns at presidential events. Why'd you bring a gun to an event with the president?
I do know history, and the history is that our forefathers fought for the right to keep and bear armed, and they believe that every person should be armed.
Everybody knows that.
Okay, well then...
Well, why did you bring a gun to a presidential event today?
That's not even a relevant question. The question is, why don't people bear arms these days?
Okay, let's ask. Okay, you brought a sign that said the Tree of Liberty has to be watered with the blood of tyrants, and you're carrying a goddamn gun at a presidential event. I think those things make people wonder what you're about.
Right. The sign didn't say anything about blood.
What did it say?
It's time to water the Tree of Liberty.
And where did that come from? That line?
It's a quote from Thomas Jefferson.
And what's the rest of the line?
No, the rest of the line is for people to look up. It's not a soundbite. They need to understand the context.
What's the rest of the line from Jefferson?
The Tree of Liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of tyrants and patriots.
Okay, well, you're carrying a gun and you're carrying that sign, and you don't think people should worry about you?
No, I don't think people should worry about me.
Well, let me ask you about the history of people that carry guns to presidential events. Tell me that history, sir.
Are you speaking of a particular event?
I'm talking about people who bring guns to presidential events in history. Tell me their history.
I'll tell you this, Chris. We just started new history. I was there today.
Oh, you started new history.
There was a peaceful rally. No one was injured. No one on our side was alarmed. People in New Hampshire are used to
You can run on for a long time. Run on for a long time. Run on for a long time.
I want to thank Jared for staying up here late last night to get a hold of William Kostric. When I first heard the news reporting this, it was like guy with an earpiece out there with a gun right in front of Obama. No, he was down the street at a private rally in New Hampshire where they're trying to reclaim their liberty by openly demonstrating the Second Amendment. That's how you get it back. They've got us to hide in our houses with it to where now every day or two I see an article of some old man working on his rifle in his garage, and the neighbors in Texas call the police and they come arrest him, or in Illinois or anywhere. So William Kostric does have a lot of courage to do that. Some other fellow today, hours before Obama even arrived in New Hampshire, they arrested him saying it was illegal to have a gun without a permit. You don't have to have a permit to have a gun in New Hampshire or most states. So that just illustrates what he's talking about. He's with the Free States Project. He had a big Restore the Republic sign. We talked to Gary Franchi yesterday. Kurt Nimmo did, and said, no, we know that guy. He really is a patriot. But with all these setups in the ADL and Simon Wiesenthal Center, and also the mainly the Southern Poverty Law Center demonizing me and others, we're looking for them to stage something, so that's what we're concerned about. But Mr. Kostric, it's good to have you on with us today.
It's good to be with you.
It's good to have you here. Tell us about yourself. Tell us where you really were, what you were doing. I've seen very few people do as well with Chris Matthews because he won't let you talk and sits there attacking you. I think you cleaned Chris Matthews' clock almost as good as when we went and shut him down with a bullhorn. But, that's one in a million, thanks to the great demonstrators. But, no, seriously, one-on-one, you did a great job. I don't think I could have done a job as good as you did being calm while that weasel was talking to you.
Well, I got to tell you, I was sweating. It was rough. He's good at what he does. I don't hold him any ill will. I see a lot of people wrote some nasty things about him. Fact is, the name of the show is Hardball. That's what he does. That's what I expected walking in. I've been in sales for a while. I have a little bit of experience public speaking, so that helped out. But even so, it was pretty brutal. And I was glad watching it afterwards that everything went as well as it did.
Absolutely. And people can watch the whole clip up on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Tell us about what you actually saw out at the event, and then what made you think, I'm going to go wear a sidearm on my side, and I'm going to have a sign saying, water the Tree of Liberty?
It's a fortuitous confluence of events. I was at some other activism in the state and was having a conversation with some folks. I wasn't even actually aware of the visit of the rally, and it was just the day before. They said, he's coming in. It's gonna be a big deal, and I'm like, well, someone should be there open carrying, and everybody kind of looked at me like I was a little off, and I said, well, then I'll go do it. And
but what you're doing is so revolutionary that I mean, people wimp out on this. And even in Texas now, if you're trying to walk with a shotgun by your own ranch down the side of a highway, a cop will pull up and ask what you're doing. In America, no one dare carry a rifle in the back of their pickup truck anymore. Just 15 years ago, you saw it everywhere. They're killing our culture, you and others. I know Vermont, New Hampshire, Arizona, a few other states, people are open carrying everywhere. Colorado, and the slaves are having to learn that this is their right. And I saw Violence Policy Center, Brady gun grab group on MSNBC this morning. They were talking about you and others viciously, how dangerous it is. But see, they've got all their armed police and all their weapons. They're threatened by their slaves. They're like Bengal tigers in the jungles of India, not liking to see a little deer suddenly grow big claws and fangs. So we are their food, and of course they're going to want us to be declawed and defanged before they drop out of a tree like a boa constrictor and have their way with us.
Yeah, it's interesting because the truth is, I don't know the exact number, but I think over 40 states it's legal to open carry in, but the vast majority of those you don't dare unless you want to get your face slammed into the ground. And New Hampshire is a place where you still generally can. As activists, we have had a few incidents, nothing brutal, but minor harassments, and we've spoke to the police chief,